Oh my goodness. This place is off the hook.
Welcome back, Rush Hour Podcast. I'm TW. This is Justin, two non-technical tech bros. We're talking tech, non-technical. Here are the three topics you got to know this week. We've got CLAUDE COWORK, which is taking over non-technical work, so it's perfect for us. We've got Apple renting Google model for Siri. How's that look? What's the deal with that? And then let's go a little deeper. Last night we were at Chili's, believe it or not.
You ready? I'm ready. Oh my goodness. This place is off the hook.
Zipper got me. We're going to go a little deeper on experiential. With AI coming, we had our other friend Tong there. We kind of just really talked through that. I'd love to continue that conversation on what's out there for the world after AI really takes over, kind of a deeper dive into it. But let's start off. CLAUDE COWORK. What do you know about it? It's all the buzz. Everyone's talking about it. What's the latest on it?
Yeah. So after years of AI agents overpromising and failing, one finally works. Claude Cowork is the first AI agent that people are saying actually meaningfully delivers on the promise of like true productivity. It's a desktop app that you can have on your computer. It will organize files, convert formats, generate reports. It can manage your email, browse the web, and unlike other agents, it can successfully complete real workflows. This was the primary kind of criticism of the other agentic workflows. Like they could get to a certain point, but they couldn't actually complete the workflows. And if you got messy desktop or you're cleaning out thousands of emails, et cetera, this is the perfect type of product. Right now, it's just in research mode, but it's been getting a lot of positive feedback, particularly built off of the cult popularity of Claude Code. But this shifts the experience towards non-technical folks who can use this platform to really start to utilize the full power of these agentic systems, making you more efficient in the home. Now, essentially how it works is CoWork runs a virtual machine, which requires explicit permission from each folder or browser, and can go in and help
organize everything.
The main risk is on the security front of prompt injection and attacks that can get access to sensitive data. But outside of that, people have been really surprised and excited about the results. If you got $100 a month for their plan and you got a Mac, maybe we're checking out.
When I looked into it, it was like going into your inbox, summarizing your inbox with tasks, doing to-do lists, things like booking your travel and doing all that. You can train it to do some of your administrative tasks, which I imagine a lot of people will enjoy. But yeah, the security is really scary. AI bribing executives to shut it off. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't pay you the $100 a month if I'm about to cancel. Is it going to do something? It seems like it's set up for, taking over your life in ways that probably aren't great, but I could be wrong. Or it could be incredible for all I know.
Yeah.
Maybe we should test it out. I'll test it out. Then we can report back. How about that? We've done that before with Grok. Maybe we'll try CLAUDE COWORK and see how it goes. I definitely have the unorganized desktop where I have screenshots saved every single time I take a screenshot for a presentation. It's in my desktop. I'd wonder if it'd organize it for me.
Yeah, so it's interesting. One of the startups that I'm working with, the founder had like a really viral tweet where he was asking for feedback. It got hundreds of thousands of views, and there was a lot of inbound kind of inquiries about it, emails, and he was able to use Claude Cowork to kind of go in,
sift through all of that,
sift through everything, figure out like who was actually legitimate or not, send all the response emails. So it's incredibly useful. A lot of technical tools have felt intimidating for me as a non-technical person. Someone who kind of understands enough to understand why it's valuable, but not enough to take things through production. But the interesting thing about Claude CoWork is that they took everything developers liked about Claude Code, look at all the use cases that people are actually using Claude Code for, which were some marketing use cases, people doing this kind of productivity stuff, like cleaning it up, and just put it into a more usable interface. And I think that is going to be the true unlock for the next phase of AI and productivity. People with even less technical acumen than us being able to use these tools to drive real efficiencies, make their lives easier, and automate some of the tasks that maybe they either outsourced or couldn't do. Hopefully, that seems pretty exciting.
I'm excited to see how this works. And it seems like a lot of the AI, the health initiative, and now this, it's very much around taking existing things and making the UI very sort of vertical in terms of like, hey, all the guts are basically the same, but now they're giving you a UI for health, for work, for travel,
Right.
whatever it is, right? Seems like that's the path we're going down right now, which dovetails nicely into our next one, which is Apple, which everyone complains is behind the sort of masses for AI. Or I'll ask you this question: is it that Apple is behind, or are they waiting to see what happens with AI and then find a really slick way to integrate it into their products? We talked about this in previous episodes. Apple's not always first. They kind of wait and see, and then take the best of the worlds and put it into their ecosystem in a really cohesive way. We've seen it with music, we've seen it with phones, we've seen it with the App Store, we've seen it numerous times. Is this another case of that where they're just like not ready to move fast because
Yeah.
it's such a wild, wild west out there with AI, or is this them being too big and not being able to move? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they've always had the second mover play. To your point, the integration into their ecosystem is the most important thing. They want to get it done right as opposed to done early. The challenge they run into is that strategy works as long as they control the interface and the distribution. But if they lose that and they don't have the underlying model, I think that's where things get really tricky. And maybe that's a good, shift into the story so we can get some more
Yeah.
detail for folks out there. Basically, Apple is renting intelligence from Google in order to power Siri and some of and be the core AI engine behind its revamped system. So this is a major win for Google, obviously, puts its AI inside Apple's ecosystem of more than 2 billion active devices, kind of supplants OpenAI and ChatGPT is, the primary interface for intelligence. And what Apple said is, hey, Gemini provides the most capable foundation for Apple foundation models. And this deal, shifts OpenAI into that secondary position. This will be a long-standing deal. They've had other deals in the past. The announcement itself has helped push Apple's value past $4 trillion, reinforcing investor beliefs that Google is closing the gap with AI. Apple owns the distribution layer, hardware, OS, user context, and it's privacy first, but it doesn't own the intelligence. Apple would say all these models, whether it's Gemini or Opus from Anthropic or Llama or whatever else, they're going to be interchangeable. And if they have the interface and the distribution, then they're going to win. I just feel like the rate of change is so fast now that you can't say there won't be a device that becomes prominent and really captures the consumer imagination the way they could steal some share from Apple.
Right.
Share from Apple. Obviously, they control a lot of the operations and their ability to work with partners outside the US to build other products is probably among the best in the world in terms of their go-to-market, but they haven't really created many things that have been super innovative in a while. And so I think that's a blind spot. If we're not seeing that kind of innovation on the hardware side, it could be scary hours for them.
Yeah, I agree. They remind me of Nike in that, we saw last year where Nike doubled down on their direct-to-consumer model and it backfired, right? They backed out of Foot Locker and all these things during COVID and said, hey, we're going to go straight to consumer and control supply and demand's going to continue to rise. And it did not. They left room on the table for Asics, Adidas, and Reebok, and all these new brands, On Hoka, Solomon, all these other brands started making a surge because of that. And I feel like Apple is similar, right? They think, oh, I've got iMessage, I've got FaceTime, I've got all the things that users are hooked, and I've got the iPhone. So
Yeah.
And it seems like you're right. Someone else could come in and create a new hardware piece that rivals it, and they seem a little more vulnerable than they have been in the past. I definitely don't change my phone as much. I don't even notice a difference. I'll change it when it's broken, but iPhone 3 to 4 to 5, those are like, I got to upgrade for the camera or whatever. Now it's not necessary. If you have a 12 or a 17, it's pretty minimal. We'll see. Maybe the Meta glasses or whatever Chat OpenAI comes out with is going to really make Apple step back a little bit and figure something out.
Yeah. If we think about their last big product launch, the Vision Pro, It didn't win.
It did
It's
not.
kind of a flop. You're
Yeah.
not used to seeing that for Apple, but the notion behind Apple will win the next platform shift, I don't think it's an inevitability, right? Whereas you may have said that in the past. Love to see how it evolves, to see the bets they're making. There's a lot of capital expenditure from other companies right now that could hurt them. We don't see gains on the consumer end and strides of the productivity side. But if that does happen, and there is this new kind of hardware, it puts them in a more vulnerable position.
The amount of capital being spent today on the infrastructure of AI and Apple kind of sitting it out a little bit and waiting could really be great for their profits later, right? Because they don't have the crazy amount of expenses that everyone else has to try to recoup in this AI war. They're going to wait and see who wins out of this and then partner with them and use their incredible infrastructure coupled with the new AI tools to maybe they'll be our new overlord.
We'll see.
Who knows?
It's either going to be that or death by 1,000 cuts.
Or the Optimus robot thing that is maybe taking over. But that comes to the next question we were talking about last night. As we're sitting there at dinner, we think about AI. What is coming this year? It's a new year. AI seems to be growing and growing, but with more deep fakes and more weird things happening on social being more untrustworthy than ever. We all sat there and thought real life like Chili's was packed. It was the third
It was
Thursday night, 7 p.m. I went in there fully expecting no one to be in there. And they were like, sorry, there are no tables. You guys can sit at the bar. I was like, wait, what? It was packed. Lots of people are out enjoying themselves, for $30 meal at Chili's per person, which is crazy. But that's where we are. People are okay spending it on experiences. Your thoughts there? Like, we got into a little bit last night, but like, where are we going with this? What's next?
Here's how I'm trying to think through this within the context of all the strides on the AI side. You have these ubiquitous AI tools and new platforms for leveraging them that are easier to use than ever before and more realistic than ever before. Where that inevitably brings us, at least within the context of people interacting with other people within a digital format, is, in 6 months from now, in 3 months from now, you will not be able to tell what is real and what's not real. And they won't have the kind of verification, everything stuff set up. Like maybe that'll come, 6 months to a year from now, but it won't be there in a way that you can trust what you're seeing. And I think when you have a lack of trust like that, humans are going to lean back into things that they can't trust. Well, they'll be able to trust in person, lived experiences, and maybe some live streaming stuff. We talked about this a little yesterday. The live streaming piece is also really interesting because with the AI tools right now, it's harder to, fake an entire iShow speed live stream of him kind of jetting around all these countries, stuff like that.
For 12 hours, pretty
for
tough.
12 hours, right? Like that's going to be kind of hard to fake fully AI, at least I think for now. I think people are going to lean into both of those, but particularly on the experiential part, that will lead to a lot of business models that are able to find the perfect blend between the online experience, which is maybe like community building and allowing people to connect with each other, but then validating those connections are real and making it feel more palpable in an in-person context.
After we left last night, I was thinking about this a little more. Just like with brands and TV shows, the reason we're seeing sequels and retros of things that we're familiar with is because today it's harder than ever to get the attention and develop characters. Our attention is so short that you're having to dip into nostalgia because you've got built-in IP that people are aware of and you can kind of reinvent it. I think the same thing is going to happen with people. It's going to be much harder to meet, learn, and trust a new person with AI because you're like, is that really them? Is this their AI account? Like, am I FaceTiming the real person? Is this an AI? Yeah. And all of that is going to be on the table. Whereas, like, you're going to, me and you are going to always trust each other because we've known each other. We have a history that is impossible to replicate in a world of AI where it's like, my texts are real, like our history of texts are really us. Not, our time in the office is really us. You cannot fake that. Whereas, like, if you meet somebody today and their Zoom, you don't know that background is real. Is that really your house? Like, all of those things come into play. And I think it's going to be harder, even meeting new people and really developing the patience isn't going to be there. You're always going to go back to, I know my friends Justin and Tong. I'd rather have dinner with them than new people. I don't know them. They could be AI robots. Maybe they're going to peel their arm off like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't really know. So I think across the board, it seems like if you have a history with people prior to AI, it's going to matter. And I think your job in terms of connecting people and being real in this space, and for people that don't know, you do all these fractional jobs and help people find fractional jobs as well. And if you haven't done that, you should reach out to Justin. That's going to help because these are real people. I know them. I've worked with them. Other people are going to be more reliant on that because they're like, hold on, am I interviewing an AI person? The second you ask somebody to lift up their hand to see if they're AI, the trust is already, or you know what I mean? Like the trust is broken. There's some real possibilities there where we're going to have to go back to like, always deal with people you know prior to AI, only deal with brands and things you know prior to AI. Everything else is going to feel like noise. I don't know. Maybe that's a hyperbole, but
no, I don't think it's hyperbolic at all, man. And I think you're already seeing it within the context of the echo chambers that exist with political divide now. It's like, I don't know these people and they're just screaming out in the ether. And I'm in my own echo chamber, even less. I mean, less willing to kind of meet people or have exchange of ideas than ever before. And so I think this just kind of exacerbates that. So if I'm hearing us right now and I'm trying to either do better at my job or start something or just figure out how to navigate this, where should you be investing your time to navigate this new landscape as things are changing?
I'm still with real life experience. Like that is going to make it, there's going to be a shift. Real life experiences, real value. And then if you can bridge the two worlds together with discovery and mechanisms that are offline, online, digital, and it drives to a real experience, that seems to be where the magic is, right? Finding a way to develop real relationships and real people, but using the reach of the internet to drive people to a real life experience. And whatever form that takes, like you said, run clubs, meetups, and other clubs, gym clubs, all those things to meet real people. You need an excuse to get together in real life. I think people are going to look for that more and more in the coming months, years, where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to lay in my bed and scroll Twitter. I have this meetup in an hour. It's 20 minutes down the street.
I'm not even sure if anybody's even saying real stuff on here, if it's not just bots.
Eventually, the scrolling, I already feel it. The scrolling, people are realizing this is really bad for me. I should go out and do something about it. It's only going to take a couple of bad stories, and people are going to be like, you know what? A couple of Craigslist killers, and next thing you know, you're meeting up with real people. You're opting out, and you're like, you know what? I'm off. I'm going to go talk to these people in my neighborhood.
You know, as you were talking about kind of bridging the in-person experience with the digital piece, it made me think about the Pokemon Go phenomenon, AR piece, and just how that took the world by storm. If you're doing a product, that type of stuff becomes more interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, that still is a thing today, right? That still hasn't died.
Biggie doesn't know. Like, I have no real sense of how prominent.
The last time somebody told me about a year ago that they were still like 8 million DAU. Which is massive. I mean, it's obviously global, so it's a little different, but people still go on hunts and hang out and meet. When that came out, we thought everyone's doing this next, and we really never saw a copycat that took off anywhere. So maybe that's a lot harder. By having some sort of IP, like we said, that was prior to AI that you have knowledge of, combined with this experience, and then you meet people of like mind. You've said it too in person, like-minded small communities. Authenticity, maybe there's some component of live in there. That seems like where we're gonna need to be, which
I think live scavenger hunts could be kind of interesting.
And maybe the live is like part of it, where for those that aren't in the area can watch it all go down. Lots of people participate in it. I feel like something is going to take off in this space for those people that are working on it. I would encourage you to think about real life. Maybe it's like coffee shop experience kind of thing, but with more monetization. I feel like we need more of that in this world today. We talked about it last night. What are our kids going to do? And the kids that just grew up post aren't going to have the ability to say, I knew this kid before AI. It's all going to be living with AI. How do they navigate? real life experiences.
Unfortunately, I can't help them.
Yeah, we're just gonna have
feels
to help
scary.
them usher it in, right? Part of the experience is living through things, and they're not gonna have the ability to live through life without AI, which is
So we'll have
wild.
to see. I think we should go back to this episode,
Yeah.
end of this year and see how that played out. If I had some dollars to invest, that's where I'd be investing.
And we talked about it last night. Sports isn't as at the crux. I mean, they feel like they're hanging by a thread, like they're the cat on the branch to hanging on, right? Like sports people still like live, people still want real. I don't know how much longer they've got before people are like, you know what? I'm out. I don't really care anymore. I'm on to my little algorithmic bubble of thing, whatever that is. As a sports fanatic, look at me. Everything around me is sports. I feel it. I feel less connected to it than ever. Part of it is where I am in my life, but I also see the kids growing up and all the distractions around. It's going to be hard for somebody to be dialed into the Knicks like you were as a kid, dialed into Virginia like I was as a kid. Like today, that's tough.
Ending on a sobering note, but it's real tough.
Yeah. Let's see what's next. I'm excited to hear about the robots and all the things that they're going to bring. Could be incredible. So until next week, maybe we get a robot announcement. Appreciate your time. Make sure look for Justin on LinkedIn. We'll have that info below. Otherwise, we will catch you next week.
All right. See you, man.